This edition of MacVoices is supported by the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter to keep you up on all the latest from MacVoices. Watch or listen to MacVoices straight from your email client. Sign up at macvoices.com/newsletter and stay up to date. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, I get to welcome back an old friend. We just determined that we probably haven't seen each other for like 6 years. We met at Macworld about 6 years ago, and we'll talk about a little bit about how they communicated with me to let me know they were there, because it's still one of the brilliant marketing moves of all time. Ruben Bakker of MailPlane is here to talk about MailPlane, a Gmail client alternative. Ruben, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here again.
It's great to see you again after all these years. This time, a little bit more distance between us. Last time we met at Macworld, right?
Yeah, the last time was face-to-face. This time I'm in Pennsylvania and you are in?
I'm in Switzerland, close to Bern.
Right, so a little bit of distance. So we're here to talk about MailPlane, and specifically the newest version of MailPlane. And so I thought we might start just sort of from the ground up. A lot of us use Gmail one way or another.
Right.
And we are very familiar with using it through the browser interface. Why MailPlane? Why do I need a separate email client when I have a perfectly good email client within the browser?
Yes. So I totally agree that Gmail's web interface is a very productive environment. So opening gmail.com inside Chrome or Safari, and then having like the labels, the threads, like all the storage, like in the cloud, we still think this is the best way to do email. There's no downloading, there's no filling up of your hard drive and things like that with traditional email clients. So we really love the idea, but using it in a browser is, you're also missing out on a lot of things like integrations with other apps, or you may be looking for your tab in your browser, maybe have open 10 tabs and one of them is Gmail or Calendar. And so it's not an ideal, the browser is great, but it's not giving you everything a dedicated app could give you. So MailPlane is kind of a browser for Gmail, Calendar, Contacts, and Google Inbox. So it gives you like the best of those worlds. So on one hand, you have the web interface of Gmail, Calendar, etc. And on the other hand, you have a native app that is dedicated to Gmail, Calendar, etc., with all the benefits of integrations, of finding your app again, etc. So MailPlane was created to combine these two worlds into one app.
And it does it very well. But the one thing that always has sort of surprised me about MailPlane is, unlike so many other mail apps for the Mac or for any device, instead of reinventing the interface, you go to great pains to duplicate the Gmail interface, which I think is a fascinating move, and it's one that really works out well for me.
So in fact, it's not a duplicated interface, it's the original interface you're seeing. So it's like using Gmail in say Chrome. You're using it in a different application, but you're still using the original, not like a duplicated interface. So that's important to mention, that it's really, you're using Gmail with all its capabilities, but in a separate app that offers you more Mac integrations.
So let's talk about the integrations. You've mentioned that a couple times. Give us some examples of what kind of integrations that I can get with MailPlane as opposed to just using the Gmail interface in a browser.
So there are like two ways. One is like from the outside coming in. So there's a lot of apps like Fantastical that will send you email, and they will use the default mail client, and they're able to use MailPlane as the default mail application to send off an email with attachments, etc. So there's a very long list of applications that are able to communicate with MailPlane as if it would be, let's say, Mail app from Apple, and compose messages that you can then process inside MailPlane. So that's one category of integrations. Another one is we have a share extension that you can use in Finder, Photos, Preview, I believe. So different places in the OS, you can share a file or an image, and then it will compose a message inside MailPlane. There's like services menu items that you can use in every app to, again, search your mailbox or compose something, or use like the selection as a from address, etc. Then there is a full AppleScript interface. So for people that are more into automating things, they can use AppleScript. So there's a lot of like integrations like that. The other way is that you can save conversations that you received inside MailPlane into, let's say, Evernote, or into to-do managers like Things, OmniFocus, Todoist, or there is also an integration with DevonThink, Receipts. So there's like a way to get emails out into all these clients as, say, notes or to-dos in other applications. And then another one is about the URL. So every email you receive or email conversation has a unique URL that you can take out of the app and store anywhere. So let's say you can put a URL on your desktop, and when you click it, it will go back to the right account, open the right conversation, so you can, for example, answer somebody. And that works also from apps like Evernote, where the note has a link, and when you click the link, you're back into the email client. So that's another way to integrate. Let's see, there's more. There's Chrome extensions, where we integrate with products such as Streak or Boomerang, and new ones like Grammarly, etc. Things you know from your browser. Yeah, I think I'm running out of ideas what we integrate with, but there's more, I think.
Well, and yeah, that's a small sampling. Nobody expected you to recite them all. It gives folks, I think, an idea of what the differences are and the advantages of MailPlane.
Right.
I've been using MailPlane. I'm not even sure how well. At least 6 years, and actually longer than that, because that was one of the ways that we met. And that's the story I wanted to tell, because one thing you all do is you use the little update, well, the box that most people and most developers use to let folks know that there's a new version of their software out. You actually use that to communicate with your customers, not just with updates, but any piece of important information. Right. Not that you are obnoxious with it or anything like that. But going back to those 6 years, that's how I knew that you were going to be at Macworld, is I got a little update when I opened MailPlane that come and see us at Macworld. And it's like, that's brilliant. And why more developers don't do that? Again, it could quickly become obnoxious, but it's so effective because it puts it right there in front of me, and it's gone in a second, and you don't clutter up my email. And I thought that was fantastic.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. And yeah, we save it only for special occasions, when, for example, something is important, or like an event like that. We save. We also try like not to put too many infos in it. So not every bug we fix is mentioned in the box. It's just like an overview, and then there's a link to know more. So we try like to be as keep it as simple as possible, and then the hopes is that it also gets noticed, and apparently it was noticed like then.
Yeah, as you told me, you had a pretty good response to that one. I know we're talking about something that's that many years ago, but you had a lot of customers stop by specifically because you let them know that you were there.
Yeah, that was really, really nice, like to get to know users to get to know in person. We maybe had conversations through the support channel, and we knew each other by name, but not in person. And that was really fantastic to get them to know. So yeah, and also to hear their story, how they use the product, and what they miss, maybe what things they want to see in the product, etc. So yeah, that was really nice. And the best part, I think, for me at Macworld was to talk to customers.
It's kind of surprising. You go to something like that, you're not quite sure what your response will be, and you find out there are a lot of people using your product.
Yeah, indeed.
Really like it. So, how much cooperation or assistance do you get from Google in developing MailPlane and keeping it stable and doing everything it's supposed to do? Or do you not need any assistance because of the way you do it?
We don't have special connection to Google or Apple, so it's we have some users. We know we have some users inside both companies that use the product and give us feedback, but we have no special treatment or anything. We use like the Gmail interface and integrate it into a new package, and it's so far in these 11 years we were able like to cope with sometimes quick changes from Gmail with a quick update. So to, for example, when now the new Gmail UI came out, we were able to adapt to it very fast, but we had to do like a few updates to get it right and to like adapt to all the new things that are in there. And yeah, but so far that worked really well.
So let's talk about the newest version of MailPlane and what you've added. I know at least some of the integrations that you mentioned before are part of that upgrade, but what else is in the brand new MailPlane?
Right. So first of all, we got a lot of requests from users that they wanted more Chrome extensions, because these Chrome extensions can be a very important part for people. So they might use it as a CRM system, like Streak or Write Inbox, etc. These are like essential parts of people's work, and they need these extensions to run. So we for the new version, we were very keen to be able to support these extensions in a better way. So that's why we build it in such a way that we can use these Chrome extensions or download them and use them unaltered. And we were able to expand like the list of extensions from 4 to 12, I think. I hope I'm right with the numbers, but and we also we will look like into new extensions and test them. It's not like free. We have to do our work to get them to run. But the idea is that developers of those extensions don't need to make an adaptation for MailPlane, or we have to use the Safari extensions, which are not always at the same level as Chrome. So the idea is to use Chrome extensions. And most notably, we have Grammarly, one very popular extension that's now working with MailPlane, and some others that were highly requested. So that's one important part. And then, so I have to maybe mention that a lot of the new features we added to MailPlane were like requested over the last years. People gave us the ideas or told us like, well, I'm missing this, or it would be nice to have that. And we tried, when we created a new version, to take like the best ideas or the most important feedback and turn it into features. And one other one I love to use myself is annotations. So it's very easy now to attach a screenshot or some image and then add like an arrow to it or write some text as an annotation. And that saves you sometimes a lot of text. So instead of writing 1,000 words, you just say it with an image, and that's all now inside MailPlane. Yeah, so we have more stuff. Let me, I have to quickly look up the list so that I don't forget the important stuff. All right. So another one is notifications. So we always had like the way to notify people about new email, and we also have a do not disturb mode so that you can turn it off and get things done for times during the day. So that has been around since, I think, MailPlane 2, but we now improved new mail notifications. So you now get an additional button on these bubbles that come when a new mail arrives, and then you can either write a reply directly from the notification. So for example, to say, yes, that's all right, or I will be there, or something like that. You don't need to like open the whole app and write your reply there, but you can do it right from notification. And then, or you can directly archive a message that you don't have to respond to. So that's the two ways to interact with notifications. Another one is searching. So MailPlane, I think one of the very important features it always had was multiple accounts. So many users have like 2 accounts or even more. We know of people that have, I don't know, dozens of accounts, but usually you have a work account and a private account, and maybe another one for, I don't know, spam, or, yeah, there's like 1,000 reasons to have multiple accounts. And MailPlane makes it easy to open them in different tabs and then switch between all these accounts. But then when you have a lot of accounts, it's always a bit difficult to find like the right email. Maybe you received it in your work inbox, or you received it in your private inbox. And MailPlane 4 has now a way to search across all your inboxes. So you can open a search window, and then you can search like you would search inside Gmail. So you have all the same syntax. You can say it has to be from this person. It has in the title this and that, and maybe date ranges, etc. And then it will show you like all the emails in chronological order, and it will then indicate which account is involved, and then you can click it and you get like to the right tab, to the right conversation. So that, I think that was also much requested by people. They said, we want like a way to have an overview over everything. Then another thing is navigation. So we have a lot of power users. They like the keyboard. They like to move quickly around inside the app. And we always had like shortcuts, many shortcuts, Mac-specific shortcuts, like, you know, Command-N to compose a new message, etc. And now we introduced a new one. It's called Command-J, like jumping or navigating. And it allows you to navigate to any of your accounts, any of the labels inside those accounts, and any bookmarks you create. So it's really easy to switch around different sections or parts of your digital life by using this jumping window or this jump feature. And that we used to have like a go-to label that was a similar functionality, but it was restricted to one account. And we made it now so that it's over all the accounts and all the labels inside these accounts, etc. Let's see. Yeah, then we reworked like the downloads. So we got a lot of feedback about people having like download folders that grow over time, and they have more and more stuff in it. I'm a victim of that too. I think almost everybody is, unless they're very well organized. I'm not. And so we wanted like downloads to work more in a way that you can view and process your downloads without cluttering your downloads folder. So there's like now a direct way to open a download in the default app, or to send it to Evernote, or send it to TevenThink, to open it in Pixelmator, or like work with this file, and then it's downloaded, of course. It's downloaded into a temporary section folder, but it's not cluttering up your downloads folder unless you want it. So there's also a way, of course, to say, I want this to be in my downloads folder or in a folder of my choosing. But by default, we make it easy to view and process an attachment without cluttering the downloads folder.
On that particular feature, I do want to ask, so it's going to, let's call it a temporary downloads folder.
Yes.
What prevents the temporary downloads folder from becoming overburdened, or just, you know, being a catch-all for so much stuff, and all of a sudden all my hard drive space is gone, and I can't look at it like I can my downloads folder and know that I need to get rid of some of that?
Right. So the idea is that section is cleared regularly. So it's managed automatically. So over time, we won't keep these files around. They're like cleared, and it's more like a cache. Like Safari, for example, caches web pages. MailPlane caches these attachments, but it's not a permanent space that will eat like your disk space.
Right. One other thing I want to be real clear on, we're talking about the Chrome extensions. This does not mean that you are having to run Chrome or anything. I mean, Chrome can be not even on your machine.
Exactly.
All these extensions in MailPlane.
Yes. So it has like a similar browser technology, so that we can be, because it's good to be as close as possible to what Google does, so that we can support Gmail in the best way. But it doesn't require anything from Chrome. You don't have to have it, so it's no issue.
Another thing I wanted to clarify, because I think this is one of the true powers of MailPlane. Gmail is great for aggregating different accounts, so that it comes to one inbox if you wish. But at the same time, you know, I don't want to work. I have multiple personal email addresses, and I would like to aggregate those into one account, but I don't want to mix those up with my work account. So that is one of the beauties, that I can use the power of Gmail to combine what I want to, but I can also have a completely separate identity over here within MailPlane and enjoy all the MailPlane benefits and the interface and the tabs and everything, but it is completely separate.
Exactly. So when you set up accounts inside MailPlane, they're completely separated from each other. So they don't even share the same cookies, or they're like in separate browsers, but they live in the same app. So we have a complete separation between accounts, and you can be sure your privacy is ensured, even if it's running in the same app.
So you just gave me a perfect segue, because this is something that I'm seeming to have to ask everyone in today's environment. We're talking about having MailPlane be between me and Gmail. Now, Gmail has its own questions and issues, and we all know that. And if we've chosen to use Gmail, then we've accepted those. But what is MailPlane doing about security, privacy, you know, when it comes to, you know, the fact that you sit in between?
Yes. So I think it's important to know that there's no MailPlane service or server. It's like an app. It's not a service like we run servers and we like listen in onto the communication or anything. It's like an app that runs on your Mac, and it communicates directly with Google, like shows you web pages from Google, asks about new emails using an API, etc. But there's nothing going to a third party. It's like you using a browser inside on your Mac. It's using MailPlane on your Mac. There's no difference. And we really want to keep it that way. So it's also with the new version, there's nothing we do on our servers, or we only have a web page. We don't have servers that have logic, and we only have like where you can download MailPlane. So we take that really seriously, and we know people don't want, people like, I don't know, third-party app developer reading all the emails or anything like that, and we don't do that. It's technically solved in such a way that your Mac is communicating with Google and the servers from them, and nothing else.
Now, that said, I still have to, when I go start up MailPlane for the first time, I do have to go through the authentication process.
That's right.
But that's okay, because I'm still using the Google's two-factor authentication. There's nothing that looks questionable. It's just that now, because I am passing through MailPlane, I have to give it that kind of access. But what you're saying is that access never goes to a MailPlane server or anywhere else. It's strictly between me and Google through MailPlane.
Exactly. And the reason why we ask for authorization is that MailPlane can then do these extra features like searching your mailbox and or getting like new mail notifications, etc. However, there are companies, so they use G Suite, so like the professional Gmail and services. And their company has like blocked access to, so that you can't even authorize a third-party app to do such things, because they're afraid that maybe data would leak out. Right now, people that have this will see a banner and are asked like to authorize MailPlane. But very soon we want to make it so that MailPlane can also operate with less rights. So when you don't authorize MailPlane to have extra access, then you still get like tabs and you get still new mail notification. We just use a simpler way to do it that doesn't require anything special. But you don't get search and navigate and things like that that are in addition. But so let's say a very short summary is, if you don't want to give this authorization, it will soon be like also possible to not do it. Just log into Gmail and then use MailPlane in a less powerful way.
Ruben, I feel like I know MailPlane pretty well because I've been using it for so long, but I'm sure that like everyone else, you overlook features that maybe don't suit you or are not applicable to you. What other features haven't we talked about that you want to make sure we highlight, that, and I want to make sure folks know about, so when they're making a decision on MailPlane, they can make an informed decision?
All right. So one thing, so MailPlane was like originally created for Gmail. And later we added calendar and then also contacts, which is less important. But then Google Inbox came around, and there are people that really prefer Google Inbox because it makes it easy to snooze conversations, or it has like a very pleasant way to use your inbox. And with the new version, we don't talk too much about it, but the Google Inbox support is 99% as powerful now as the Gmail interface. So we provide almost, whenever possible, we provide the same feature set for Google Inbox than for Gmail. So I think this is like, because we ourselves also are Gmail lovers, and we really like it. But Google Inbox support has really been improved, and yeah, I think it's important so that people that prefer that know about it. Another thing is so the new Gmail, and this was like something that was really important a few years ago. So Gmail tried like to offer offline Gmail so that you could use, let's say, MailPlane in an airplane, and now with so they I think about 7 or 8 years ago had like a technology called Google Gears, and it would work in Safari and Chrome, and it was not stable, and we invested a lot of time like getting that to work because we knew people love it or would like to use it. And now I think for about 1 month now, they have like introduced a new way to go offline. I don't know if you tried it, but it works nicely. It works in the new MailPlane too, and so you can take your Gmail offline and work on an airplane. So I think that can be very handy. And just go to the settings of your Gmail, and then there's an offline tab, and you configure it to go offline, and that's it.
I have not tried it. I've been just a little afraid to,
Yes.
because of what happened before, and the fact that it was a bit buggy. And so when I was trying to rely on it, and it failed me a few times, we all know, that's okay. That's a feature that is not fully baked. Let's just stay away from it.
Yes.
And so the fact that now you're advocating it makes me say, okay, I'll go back and take another shot at it. And especially if I can do it through MailPlane, that makes me even feel more comfortable.
Yes, I mean it's still early days. It's very new, but so far it looks very, very good. So I think it's a good way to. I mean, we should give it another chance, so to speak. Yeah. So let's see what else. I think we covered most. Yeah, like we now using Zoom as to talk to each other. I really like Zoom. It's really how should I say? It's very stable and never drops, etc. And MailPlane also has a Zoom meeting extension that you can enable. So
I did not know that. Okay, good. That's definitely good to know.
Yeah, the only thing you have to do that is a bit strange is after installing the extension, you need to go to Calendar and then Extensions, and then click on Zoom, and then it will allow you to log in. And after the login, you can use it. But before you log in, it will say you have to log in first, and there's nothing in the UI that will allow you to do that, except for this menu item.
Got it. Another point I want to make, though, about you, MailPlane, the company, you have rolled out updates consistently for I don't even know how long. I don't remember when the last full version of MailPlane came out. The newest version is a paid upgrade, but it's the first paid upgrade in years. Is that fair to say?
Yes. So I think around 5 years ago, MailPlane 3 was released as the first paid upgrade. So MailPlane exists now for 11 years, I think. And then after 6 years or so, there was the first paid upgrade, and now is the second paid upgrade in our history. So we made like tons of updates, as you say. I think we have like a number on our homepage. It says, so MailPlane exists for 11.5 years, and we did 195 updates.
Wow.
But that's also like to keep up with, Apple releases, Google releases, like small changes here and there, bug fixes, and sometimes also bigger things. So I remember we introduced bookmarks a while ago, in MailPlane 3, and that was certainly also an update. So yeah, and that's also why it has to be. I mean, from time to time we have to do a paid upgrade because we investing like a lot of time into MailPlane, and we have to pay the bills, of course.
Absolutely. And I guess the point I wanted to make is that this is not just something that lays there until you decide to make a paid upgrade. It is constantly being updated, constantly being refined, constantly any bugs or issues that are implemented or caused by Apple or by Google, you're squashing those very quickly. And I feel really good about that because I know there are folks out there that say email is dead. Not in my world. Not for a long time, folks. I don't think. And MailPlane really does help me manage my email. There's so many great tools out there that do it, but MailPlane is the one that I've chosen, and I just love the fact that it's getting better and better. And I'm more than happy to pay the upgrade to keep you all doing what you do because it makes a huge difference to us.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree that that email is not that. It's not as shiny as other things around there, but it's probably the most flexible way. And it's, I mean, you register for some social network or something, and you will receive an email. So you will receive an email so that you can prove that, I mean, for the password, etc. The login is with emails, so there's always. I mean, I think that it will stay around for some time.
Well, Slack is great. Teams is great. There are plenty of collaborations, but there's no standard out there at the moment. I mean, Facebook wants to be a standard. Twitter wants to be a standard. They've tried with varying degrees of success depending on who you are and who you trust. But email is email, and so it's sort of a bedrock technology, I think, at this point. It'll be replaced by something sometime, but I think we're a long way from it.
And maybe the reason is it's still open. Nobody owns email. It's like an open standard that was around since, I don't know, the Stone Age of the internet, while Slack or any of these technologies owned by a single company. So it would be like a very big shift, like if you would give up like something that's neutral to something that is owned and controlled then by somebody. So yeah, I agree. There needs to be a standard for a successor.
Well, and folks, I want to encourage you to go check out MailPlane. This is an app that, as I said earlier, I've used for more years than I can count. I've lost track. When I moved away from a pop email many years ago, I looked around. Gmail seemed to be the best option. Then I found MailPlane, and I've played with a few things, but I keep coming back to MailPlane because it just lets me do what I need to do. So thank you, Ruben, for MailPlane, because I don't know what I would do without it. So please keep it up.
Thanks. And yeah. And also greetings from Lars. He couldn't join our call today. So I think you talked to him last time.
Yep. Please give him my best.
Okay.
So let's talk specifics, though, about MailPlane. How do you get it? Where do you get it? How much does it cost? We were talking about the upgrade price, but what are the prices of it at this point?
So MailPlane is only available from our website, so there's no App Store version. And our website is mailplaneapp.com. And then on the front page there's like a try now or something button. When you click that, it downloads. So that's how you get it. You get like 15 days trial. You can try everything you want. And then when you decide it's useful for you, you can buy it. For a single user license is $29.95, so about $30. And then there's a family option that's $10 more. That allows you to use it for everybody that lives in your household. And then there's a site license that's for organizations, let's say a company, a church, or anything that where people where the company pays for the license. And then we talk about seats, so how many people use it, and that starts at 3 seats. There's like a discount. I don't remember, but the discount is bigger the more seats you get. And of course, you can add more seats later on. So you can start with 3 and then add 4, etc. And then there's for people that have MailPlane 3 or MailPlane 2 or MailPlane 1, it doesn't matter. You have an old MailPlane, you get an upgrade discount. So the upgrade price is $19.95 for a single user license and $24.95 for a family license. And then the same is for site. It's the same price for site license. You get an upgrade discount there too. And it gives you like, it's not a subscription. I think today you have to mention that because many apps have subscriptions, and MailPlane is not about subscription. You get like this license for MailPlane 4, so this major version, and maybe it lives for many years. So also MailPlane 3 users that already have a license, we continue to make bug fixes and keep MailPlane 3 in a good state. And as long as you can use MailPlane 3, you can use your license. And then the same is true for MailPlane 4. I hope that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. And I guess I want to stress that if you are a Gmail user, this is some of the best productivity money you will ever spend, because it is great software. It's well maintained. It's kept up to date. I cannot recommend it highly enough. Again, there is a condition, and that is that you are a Gmail user. But if you are, this absolutely ranks up there in my top 5 productivity apps. Just no way I want to do without it.
Thanks.
And of course, the website where the folks go is
mailplaneapp.com.
Ruben, thank you so much. This has been, it's always great catching up, but I really appreciate the work you, Lars, and your whole team have done on MailPlane in keeping it at that high level and that high level of dependability. So get back to work.
All right. And thank you for all these interviews you do over the years. It's really interesting to get to know people that work on Mac products or iOS products and see them like in an image, and I find your interviews very interesting and
thank you.
Informative.
I think it's important for folks to realize it's so easy for us to overlook the fact that there are humans behind each one of these products,
Exactly.
And they have a vision for the product, and that's the objective here, is to make sure that you know that there are people like you and Lars who work on this, and it's not just a product that, I look at that, yeah, it looks nice, maybe it doesn't look nice, I'll just move on. You need to, if we all looked at that a little bit deeper, I think the world would be just a little better place.
Nice. And I think your podcast is about, or videocast is about that we get to know these people. So that's really nice. And you did it like for so many years already.
Yeah, it's been a little while. It's been a little while.
How long is it now?
It'll be, I believe I'm in the 11th year. We're heading up on 11 years. Yeah.
2007.
2005. Did I do the math right?
5.
2000.
So it's 13 years.
13 years. Oh man. Time flies when you're having fun.
That's impressive. That's really consistent.
Yeah, well, it's easy because you get to talk to so many great people. That's one thing I always enjoy. I loved Macworld. I love going to the conferences, meeting the people, and getting to know them. It's a phenomenal community, and the more folks that I can introduce to a wider audience, the better. So
excellent.
please come back anytime, even if it's not for a major update. It's 6 years is a ridiculous amount of time. We should have done this a long time ago.
All right, we'll do that.
All right.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's great to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. All right. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. One more time, mailplaneapp.com. Go check it out. I use it. I love it. I think if you try it, you will love it too, and you will soon not be able to do without it. Until the next time, thanks for watching. Visit macvoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our MacVoices Facebook group and get more out of your Apple Tech with MacVoices magazine, free on Flipboard. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us at patreon.com/MacVoices and join these folks who help keep MacVoices coming to you. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.